Hey everyone, have you ever woken up in a place that is drop-dead gorgeous, but at the same time feels like it's actively trying to kill you at every turn? Welcome to the life of MIO. Forget about a boring start to the year, because 2026 has decided to hit us right in the face with a watercolor punch called MIO Memories in Orbit. If you're a metroidvania fan, this has probably been on your radar, but heads up, this isn't just another Hollow Knight clone with robots. It's a space odyssey that balances the fragility of a tiny automaton with the sheer scale of a dying ship called the Vessel. Buckle up, because today we're finding out if this trip through the stars is a total triumph or if you'll end up wanting to chuck your controller into hyperspace. First off, we have to talk about the art style because it's physically impossible to ignore. Seriously, this game is pure art. I'm not even exaggerating when I say every single screenshot could be framed in a high-end gallery. The devs went with a hand-drawn style that looks like a mix of delicate watercolors and pencil sketches with a ton of personality. At times, it reminded me of that experimental 90s animation vibe. Think Aeon Flux, where the lines are sharp but the colors bleed together with an elegance that just hits different. The Vessel isn't just some generic spaceship, it's a living, breathing ecosystem in decay. You go from cold, high-tech metropolises to vibrant gardens that look like they were painted with fresh pigments just minutes ago. The lighting is masterclass too. Light beams filter through rusty machinery, creating this serene, decaying atmosphere that totally sucks you in. It feels like a world built for someone else, someone much bigger than us, and that feeling of being a tiny speck on a massive canvas is what gives the game its soul. And if your eyes are happy, your ears will be too. The soundtrack is a dream of atmospheric synths that ramp up into frantic techno during boss fights. There are moments where the ethereal choral music is so good you'll actually want to put the controller down just to soak it in. It is in every sense a top-tier audiovisual experience. But a game can't survive on looks alone. You control MIO, a little robot who might look fragile but is actually a machine of pure precision. This is where the game really finds its footing, the movement. In a metroidvania, if the controls aren't tight, the game is dead on arrival, but MIO feels incredible. You start with a double jump, but the real magic happens as you unlock abilities like gliding, dashing, or using the hairpin to grapple onto specific points. The combat and platforming are tied directly to your stamina, and here's the genius part. You recharge that energy by hitting enemies or interacting with certain bulbs in the environment. It creates this constant flow. You aren't just jumping, you're calculating every strike to stay airborne. Once you master the aerial combat, you feel like a robotic martial artist, using enemies as trampolines to reach impossible heights. I have to be real with you though, the controls might feel a bit floaty to some, and the game demands surgical precision. This is not a game you play while distracted. If you miss a jump by a millimeter in the late game vaults, get ready to bite the dust. Now, let's get serious about the difficulty. MIO Memories in Orbit has absolutely no mercy. It's tough, bordering on brutal. It leans heavily on demanding mechanics, which means bosses will dismantle you over and over until you memorize their patterns. The bosses are visual spectacles. We're talking four-armed tanks and androids that clear the whole screen with massive attacks. But the challenge isn't just the fight itself, it's what comes before. The game suffers from those long run-backs from the save point to the boss that can get pretty tedious. Walking for 3 minutes while dodging spikes just to get killed in 10 seconds can really test your patience. On the bright side, the developers included some very smart accessibility options. There's an eroded bosses mode that lowers a boss's health every time you lose, letting you push forward if you're truly stuck. There's also a pacifist mode for exploration, where enemies won't attack unless you swing first. This is a huge win because it lets people who just want to soak in the atmosphere and platforming enjoy the ride without getting walloped by the combat. Speaking of combat, while it's satisfying and the hits have real weight, some might find the core loop a bit simple compared to the depth of the story and art. It doesn't reinvent the wheel, but what it does with clinical, technical solidity. As for exploration, the map of the Vessel is a masterpiece of interconnection. In classic Metroidvania fashion, you'll see blocked doors or impossible gaps that basically scream at you to come back when you're stronger. But what sets MIO apart is the sheer curiosity it sparks. The game doesn't hold your hand. You have to smack walls, poke into suspicious corners, and actually observe your surroundings to find hidden paths. Progression feels rewarding thanks to the mod system. You don't just level up, you install upgrades into MIO's memory that subtly change how you play. You can beef up your defense, boost your mobility, or add effects to your attacks after a perfect dodge. Visiting Mel, the merchant, is vital if you don't want to feel underpowered for the chaos ahead. Just a heads up, expect a lot of backtracking. In the final stretch, trekking from one end of the map to the other to grab that last secret can feel like a chore. The game drags its feet a bit at the end, forcing you into loops that could have been handled more snappily. It's a small sin in an otherwise near-perfect structure. The story is tragic, but also strangely hopeful. Don't expect long cinematic info dumps. The storytelling here is environmental. You learn about the collapse of the vessel and Mio's purpose through world debris, cryptic chats with other bots, and the sheer vibe of the biomes. There's an underlying moral theme about compassion and selfishness that really resonates. Despite the mechanical violence, MIO is a gentle game at its core. It asks what it means to care for a world that's forgotten how to care for itself. It's abstract, but emotionally powerful enough to keep you thinking long after the credits roll. Technically speaking, the game runs like a dream across the board, including on the new Switch too. Honestly, the results are impressive. On Nintendo's successor, it looks stunning both handheld and docked, keeping that buttery smooth frame rate you need for a game this fast. On PC and next-gen consoles, it's a rock. No frame drops, no stuttering, just pure optimization. Even on Steam Deck, it's a total joy, though it might need a few tweaks to save your battery. It's refreshing to see an indie release hit the market this polished. To wrap this up, let's look at the balance sheet. What you're gonna fall in love with is the jaw-dropping aesthetic, easily one of the most beautiful games in recent memory. The fluid movement turns every trip through the vessel into a high-speed dance, and that soundtrack is an absolute mood. Plus, those accessibility options are a massive plus for keeping the game inclusive. On the flip side, the difficulty spikes can feel a bit unfair, and those long runbacks after dying can be a total buzzkill. The endgame backtracking and a combat system that is good but not groundbreaking are things to keep in mind. So, is MIO Memories and Orbit worth it? Absolutely. It's a game that wears its heart on its circuits. Sure, it's got some rough edges, but it makes up for them with a level of beauty and soul we rarely see these days. It's not just another Metroidvania, it's an experience that dares you to get lost and feel small in a massive forgotten universe. If you're a fan of Ori or Hollow Knight, you'll feel right at home, but MIO has more than enough personality to stand on its own. It's a glowing journey through decay and empathy. If you have the patience for a challenge and you value art above all else, go grab it. If you're the type who gets frustrated with hardcore platforming, just toggle those assist options and enjoy the scenery, because the vessel is a place you definitely need to visit. And that's all for today. I hope this review helped you decide if MIO is for you. Don't forget to drop a comment and let me know what you think of this art style, and do you think we already have our first big indie game of the year contender? See you in orbit!